Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel, welcome to another reaction, and welcome back to something that has been on my mind for a while now, but ever since it was announced, I have loved it. Guys, welcome to the Stories from Styx Part 2, or at least a new song from Stories of Styx by the lovely Casper Fox, who has graced us before by giving us a whole bunch of musical numbers all about basically, the river Styx, the underworld. And this one, a new one, is called Achilles Lullaby. So, which, just to give people some context, whilst I have watched his stuff before, which you can go up there to find a link to part 1 before, which I highly recommend you do, because there was a lot of great singers and songwriters in it. There were a lot of great animatics in this, in that one, which was fantastic. But this one, I believe, is just going to be one song. So it's Achilles Lullaby. I do know Casper wrote it. I do know that, I know two things. I know Achilles is in it. And it features Lydia the Bard, who I've listened to. She's fantastic. Who plays Thetis? You're going to get a lot of times where I'm not going to be able to pronounce people's names. And I apologize for that. If I get them wrong, that's just me. I'm stupid. So, In terms of what the song is, this is interesting just because the story of the story of Achilles is one that I somewhat know. So it's one of those because I know him from the Iliad, which is strange because he's not in it that much, really in the sense of how you sort of know how he came to be when he was born, how he got his invulnerability, and then it sort of just skips over a good chunk of it until he goes to the Trojan War. Yeah, that's sort of it. So the fact that this entire song, I imagine, is dedicated to the moment where he gains his invulnerability is strange. But I honestly don't know what we're going to see here. I expect some great visuals. I need to see who's the animatic for this, just because I think I know them and I love them. They're fantastic. Okay, I have no idea. The song's going to be great. I have absolutely I'm only just because it's Casper. Casper's stuff is fantastic. I'll shut up now. So remember to like, comment, subscribe down below. Please tell me what you think about this, and go up there to find a link to part 1 of the Stories from Styx. Also, to let you guys know something that I am doing quite soon, I am going to announce that. Well, I can announce now. I have started a Patreon. Yeah, that's right, guys. So I will have a Patreon for all of the big reactions to the TV shows and the movies that I watch for you guys. I sort of thought, it'd be nice to put the full reactions somewhere where you guys can go look for them. So I've started a Patreon now. I'll put the link down below if you wish to see it. Right now, the only thing that's on there, really, or at least it's going to be on there, is my full reaction to the last movie where I did, which was K-pop Demon Hunters, which I absolutely love. So also, to like the ones previously, I will be stopping and pausing moments just because, if there's elements of the story, the elements of the singing, the elements of the animatics, I want to give you my whole input. So if you don't like that, well then, this is not going to be the reaction for you. So without further ado, guys, I'm so excited. It's been months. It has been actual months since we've heard from this. So let's get into this. I'll take any song. It doesn't have to be a full group. I will happily call this part 2 of me because it is the part 2. So let's do this, guys. Without further ado, guys, let's go.
Not every union twixt daemon and man ascends beyond
the muse, yes.
For kings grasping hands, and to Thetis, and Nereid queen, and Achilles, a babe blessed by forces unseen. As I carry you here by the heel, you were fated to.
Okay, first of all, carried off by the heel. Nice nod there. Well done there. So it is Thetis, I think, is what I heard the muse say. Thetis. I'm not gonna get this right, am I? I'm just not gonna get it wrong. Okay, so it is going to be so for the early looks of this, it is just going to be a song, the lullaby of her bringing Achilles down to the river Styx. Okay, let's go.
Every soldier and peasant will kneel for Achilles, and they will remember.
Oh, hey, that's Chiron for anyone who doesn't know. Chiron, God, I got that name right. Is if you guys have watched like the Percy Jackson season, which you can do on my channel as well. Chiron is the centaur, son of Kronos, I think, but he's an important character in the Achilles story in the sense that he is said to, he trained him. Yeah, he's the one who like took him in and trained him to be the hero that he is, because I think in the way that it's portrayed in Greek mythology, again, my knowledge isn't that great. I've looked it up and read things just because it's fun, but Chiron is supposed to be like the guy who's the trainer of hero of heroes, and since I think he like Chiron trained and looked after Zeus, yeah, like when he was like taken away. So like the fact that he's the kind of guy who was like, oh, I will bring my child to Chiron. He will train him up to be the hero that he's meant to be. And even then with this lovely vision, the artwork here, my God, this is so beautiful. And I absolutely love this. All right, let's continue. Okay.
Stepping onto the beaches of conquest.
I take it that's Troy.
Valiance and unspoken vow. His power, their redemption, the mortal Greeks best. Every kingdom and ruler will bow.
Oh, yes, that's interesting. Is that supposed to be Odysseus there on the far left? That would be quite funny. Like, was that the one like he? Because if I remember the story a while when I was reading it, because it's kind of a weird thing. Like, in case anyone doesn't know, the whole point of the Trojan War is that Agamemnon, the King of Kings, who I take it is the blonde guy with the necklace, led the call to be like, okay, you know, Helen, about Helen knows now in Troy, the whole thing, we need to go together. So like, okay, he was like, okay, I'm going to call on all the kings, all the heroes. And I think Achilles was one of the heroes, whereas like he did his best to try not take part in the fight. Like, but again, like Odysseus also didn't want to take part. He didn't want to, he pretended to be a madman. I think if I remember correctly, Achilles tried to dress up as a maiden and try to get away with that. But I think in that, from what I remember in that last little bit there, Odysseus managed to work out and get him into the fight. But it's also interesting just because like Achilles is sort of at this point, you know, it's a weird thing which I've read because I read Stephen Fry's books. That's how I know my knowledge and other things. Where it's just like they all know that they need Achilles, but they don't like that they need him, because Achilles is this charismatic, you know, charming warrior who's like the man, the myth, the legend, whereas like everyone knows who he is, everyone knows what he's going to become, like that sort of guy. And it's one of those things where just like Agamemnon, the King of Kings, is like, I don't really want to use him, but if I want to win this fight, I kind of need him. You know, it's that kind of thing. So the way that they show jealousy and stuff, like I absolutely love that. Oh, yeah. But yeah, again, it's very weird in the Iliad. Like again, he's not mentioned that much. Again, but that's something else. Let's continue.
Olympus blessed upon battle, the lion's mane. When Hector is slain, true to steel, to yet spare the cattle.
First off, Lydia, this lullaby would not make a baby sleep, but her vocals are just in so short words just highlighted like Achilles' life. Like it's been 1:30 and I've gone through most of Achilles' life. Then it's fantastic. If I remember, that's Achilles' like closest friend, like Patroclus. It's something beginning with a P, but that's also weird. That's also a fun part of the Iliad where it's like something happens in the Iliad where like in the Trojan War where Achilles is like dishonored, or not dishonored, but it's like he takes offense to something that Agamemnon does, where it's like something involving like a slave girl, where it's like Agamemnon takes like a slave girl, someone or the gods tell them, no, give it back, you know, give her back, you know, she's not yours, and so Agamemnon then takes one of Achilles' people or whatever it is, and Achilles is like, no, I'm not doing your dirty work. I'm not doing this whole thing. I will sit out of this fight. I won't take part. And so what happens is that his friend, the one that we saw there, puts on Achilles' armor and helmet and rides into battle, pretending to be Achilles. At which point then, to sort of rile the people to get him involved. At which point then Hector kills him. It's like kills him. Achilles then sees this and is like, this is like the moment in the Iliad where it's like because like I said, there's not many moments in the Iliad where they point out in the Trojan War what Achilles does, just because not well, the whole most of it is like he didn't want to get involved in the fight, or like he's there but it's like, no, I'm not staying for the part because he hates Agamemnon. But the fact that like one big moment is seeing his friend die, is having his friend die wearing his armor, where he's like that immense guilt who's like, okay, I'm in this now, Hector's gotta go. That's sort of, and because even then you saw in the animated the heartbreak, those moments where it's just like he touched heads with his friend, and just the other moment, just seeing him crying and sort with his own armor around his friend, just like that moment of heartbreak is fantastic. Whoever animated this, you haven't told me. I don't think I've seen it. I'll have to look it up a bit later. Is beautiful. I love that. And I'm expecting this is Hector, so we're going to have a bit of a fight. Let's continue. Yeah, there we go. That's Troy.
Hades, bear witness. I beg these waters bless him. Let the river of souls shield him. No arrow, no weapon, no man, no god shall mark my boy. Protect him, please. Hold your breath, my son.
Okay, hang on. The fact that even after all that we saw, because I saw that little moment there where Achilles lied on the ground with an arrow in his heel, Achilles' heel. That's a beautiful. That was a beautiful bit. I love that, and just hearing Thetis just plead to Hades, hear my cry, let me bathe my child in these waters where nothing will harm him. To give you some context of that, this is a weird history lesson. I'm realizing I'm doing a weird mythology lesson. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's just fun. Just to give you some context, Thetis, I'm going to call her Thetis. Thetis is a water nymph and one of the most beautiful creatures in the world, as you've seen here by with Lily Bard portraying her spectacularly. But as a water nymph, she is immortal. Marries the father, who I can't remember the name of, which is, again, if you want to look up something like the marriage of like Achilles' mother and father, their marriage is one of like the antithesis or like the main focal point that sort of starts the Trojan War to begin with. Like it's at their wedding where something happens that just cascades beyond into like, okay, we're gonna have the Trojan War. And one of the reasons why she's doing this is the fact that because she married a mortal, she'll bear children who are mortal. And that was like they will die, and she's like, I won't let that happen. I want my children to live. So I don't know like who tells her. This is a weird moment in when I read this. I was like, this is strange, but then most of Greek mythology is strange. I don't know who told her, if it was like a gods or like other nymphs, like spirits, or someone told her to be like, okay, because she pleaded, how do I make my child immortal? And she's told, okay, one thing you must do is you must embalm them in fire. Literally, you must place your child into like a special fire at some point, at which point then they will become immortal. And she does this to, I believe, her first 5 children. I think it's a weird moment when I was reading. I was like, oh my god! Until I think like until she was pleading with someone saying, this isn't working. I've lost too many children. Thinking like the first time, I was like, okay, this didn't happen. This didn't work. And yeah, so it's like, why does it happen? And then someone says, no, you idiot. You need to make them invulnerable and then immortal. So she was like, okay, how do I do that? She was like, go to the river Styx and place your child into the river Styx. That will make them invulnerable. And then once they are invulnerable, you can then do the fire, and then they will become immortal. So it's that kind of a stepping process where it's a weird moment where it's like she's trying to do this out of love. She doesn't want her children to die, you know? Yeah. Despite the fact that she's, you know, that whole thing before. Like, there's a weird mess with the father and all that stuff, you know. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue this weird history lesson. Let's go. This is a bit of the teaser. Oh, yeah. There it is. Okay, pop off there. Damn. Oh, hang on. Oh, wait, I haven't got that long left. Ah, but damn, that Lydia, my God, you went off there. That was beautiful. Well done there. Ah, fantastic. You know what? This song's going to end soon. I'm going to say my thoughts until the end. Ah, watching his funeral. Yeah. Oh, damn. That was very good. Okay, that was absolutely spectacular. Another point I wanted to make just a little bit there, just because it's mentioned a little bit in the song where I talk about like the tribute and what her child will achieve. Well, one thing I also want to say that because I've heard people say this was like the river Styx is just a river. It can't be that bad. Why does she need to hold him by like the ankles? And it's like the river Styx is supposed to be like this gigantic torrent river. So it's like it's not so it's like if you drop someone into the river, or if anyone goes in the river, they just sort of, you know, disappear, you know, into the souls, they get washed away. So she has to hold him, you know, and the only way you can do that is hold him by the ankles, you know. That must be that's so weird, isn't it? Like to be ever immortalized by your weakness, which is funny. But that last bit there, that moment of just that transition of like holding her child up to her was like, I've done it, I've made him invulnerable. They're just seeing the moment of heartbreak and dread, seeing that her plan didn't work. Where it's like, oh, my plan failed, because I now have to watch my child die. You know? Because I think that's also a thing where it's like, she's told, because I think she asks like a soothsayer or someone, a prophet, to be like, what will happen of my son after she does the whole River Styx thing, and she's like, she's told one of two things will happen, you know. Oh no, yes, now I know. I know what happens. She asks someone what happens, because she's worried about her son going to Troy in the Trojan War. So she asks like, what happens to my son in this if he goes, if he doesn't go? And she's told two things. She's told your son will either, you know, grow old, become a husband, a father of many children, you have a long, happy life and fade into obscurity, you know, or he will die young, you know, on the field of battle, but the world will forever know his name. His name will be immortal, you know, which is a weird thing. Where it's just like at the end, even the scene there, that moment is just like, in a weird sense of poetic justice, she wanted her child Achilles to be immortal, and in the weird sort of ironic way, she got it. Because his name, his deeds, what he is, are forever immortal, but it cost losing him. But that song itself was fantastic. I love that because it's just highlighting Lydia's vocals are just like that moment there, beautiful. I love that. That was so great. I wish it was longer. So yeah, but the animation. Who did? Can I see who the animation was? Let's see. Oh wow. Oh, a few people did it. Oh my God, it was a whole bunch. Murchie did the visual development artist, fantastic. Sketches GG, Annie Flamer, Kelmemsi, Smulio. Oh my god, a whole bunch of you did it. Oh my god. And written by Casper and Tegan. Hey, hey, you know, Athena herself. Yeah. That was fantastic, Casper. You did so well. I respect you so much for that feat. And that's it for this video and reaction, guys. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit sorry this turned into a history lesson, just because like I had so many thoughts on the kids, and I was like, oh my god, there's a kids one. I want to share them with you. I want to see what they put here. I want to see what they do, you know. But also just like I love the fact that they still show like hell, or at least the underworld, is like this beautiful paradise, because the way they're looking at like the river itself, the trees going around it, it's beautiful, and like showing the artwork there, fantastic. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. That's it for this reaction. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Please tell me what you think about this. What are your thoughts on this song? You know, what did you like? What did you like about it? Go up there to find the link to the rest of the part 1 of the Stories from Styx by Casper. And remember to also check out my Patreon. Maybe give it a few days, yeah, because I will get the movie out there. I will try. It's a new thing, and it's just taking a bit longer than I wish it could. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for part 3, whenever this comes out, and I'm happy to wait. Till then, guys, bye.